Hey guys, it's Brendan Borman, and we are back for another 270 video. Today we have a special guest, Erik York. What's up, Erik?
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Making your 270 videos debut here. People may know Erik from the 270 Lounge, maybe just getting pulverized in 270 matches, or I don't know what. How else may they know you? Are you famous?
Losing lots of finals, beating Daniel Warren 13 straight times. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, the Daniel Warren thing. I've heard of that guy. Um, but no. So glad to have you, Erik. I know we've got to participate in many of the same tournaments and events and things, including Survivor,
Oh,
including
yeah.
yeah, including just random stuff. But as a fellow 270 player who's been looking at this Buck Reagan, I know this was you were one of my prime people I wanted to ask and see if I could talk about this new Ronald Reagan RR84 candidate. So I will pull up a couple screenshots here in a minute, but have you got a chance to play as RR84 yet?
Yeah, I just played Bart for the ATP semifinals with RR84 and I won. So I played out in New York too. So
So it's possible to play
it
here.
is, he is viable out of New York. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, condolences to
So
Bart.
yeah, I really like him.
I know Bart watches a lot of these videos, so all good, my man. But no shame in losing to Erik. So yeah, RR84, he's a pretty obviously fire candidate. But one of the topics we're going to be talking about today is kind of how do you like choose a vice president to pair with a candidate. But first off, what do you think about Ronald Reagan, the new Ronald Reagan stats overall, like as a base, like without the VPs? Do you have like any thoughts and like what they did well?
Yeah, so obviously so I think overall they did pretty well. I mean, the 84, he has what 10% lower AA and Latino than the regular one, but his swing state is the first thing that really jumps out. It's like 35%, and then the high tech 20% is what makes him useful out of New York if you are blocked in Florida for a reason. But 25 Old South, like that oil bonus is super useful if
Mhm.
you're
So I don't
if
have a
you're
picture of the base, but I pull up a picture of a Kellyanne Conway vice president, which we'll talk about later. But
yeah,
it's got the base stats minus the national groups.
yeah. So yeah, the main things I think are Old South, swing state, and the oil, high tech as well. So it's really a great candidate. Like probably definitely the best Republican candidate, and yeah, it's really nice to see a OP Republican to balance
Nice.
out the Democrats.
What
So
do you think about this logo up here, this RR84 with this W in the background? I think it's supposed to be like a Wonder Woman logo or something.
I didn't even realize that at first. So looks pretty good.
I mean, I'm not a big like superhero thing or like fan or whatever, but I don't know, it's kind of nerdy, from that timeline. But obviously recycling that logo, so I'll have to invest more money in the artwork. So if you want to support 270 and maybe some more candidate updates, I encourage you guys to check out Ronald Reagan 84 in the shop, or you can always subscribe and get access to all the candidates. But yeah, so when you are playing a match, Erik, do you usually play with vice presidents? This depends on the circumstances.
I usually don't. I so when I'm playing tournament back like a couple weeks ago, I usually just play Eisenhower, no VP. But yeah, so I do play vice presidents for like vice president tournaments. So I just played a vice president tournament, and yeah, so I use VPs in that. But yeah, they're pretty cool to just see what overpowered stats you can come up with and stuff like that. So
For sure. And I know you're like known in the lounge as like Mr. National Group guy, but
yeah,
do you pick your VPs like national groups, or do you also look at state groups?
I prioritize national groups for VPs, but I do look at state groups if I'm not going national groups, or if there's like a national group / good state group combo, I'll look at that too. So
Cool.
yeah, usually the national groups though.
Yeah, usually, and that just gives you an option. I mean, and also, I know you're a pretty patient player. You don't mind playing from behind in a 1v1 or specifically, I would say I use multiplayer, or I use vice presidents more in multiplayer matches, and that makes national groups even more, relevant. So
for sure, yeah,
for sure. But so this one, obviously, this specific one, Kellyanne Conway, 55% big conservative evangelical and gun lobby. I just want to get inside your head here for a second, for people who, if you were going to use this combination in a 1v1, are you starting off big conservative 200,000 and calling it a turn, or are you going one pip in the, or evangelicals and gun lobby, or does it just depend on your opponent?
I guess it depends a little bit on my opponent. I'll usually go 2 pips in big conservative, or I'll like 1 pip evangelicals and like sort of like try to block the Old South, sort of like that. But
yeah. If you have a read on where they're going, because I mean, with this example, 55% big conservative is pretty big compared to 42% evangelical, and especially 35% gun lobby. But in some, if the roles were reversed, 55% evangelical and gun lobby, you can get those 2 bonuses on turn 2. But then, kind of like what you did to me the other day when we were playing that quirky rules, you can put token pressure if you go the big conservative route, and that's so frustrating.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun look in the game.
Yeah, we won't talk about who won. So
Brendan won. It's okay.
But anyway, so this is just one combination. So for those of you who have never chosen a VP, like the note we're talking about, obviously Kellyanne is the circle in the bottom left, and her stats get applied. It takes the top, her top attributes and adds them to RR84. But he also gets a penalty, but the penalty in labor and environment in this case is not that big of a deal. I'm going to go through some of these other combinations I have here, and just let me know if something jumps out at you. So I'm gonna click the mouse on this screen. First, we have Nikki Haley 2024. So we got that 40% Old South, 48% swing, 42% big conservative. Yeah, that's what you call flexibility.
That is nice.
Yeah, that's what you call flexibility. You can start national groups. You don't have to.
You can.
There are sometimes I love it when you play like in the public lobby, and maybe you're playing against a FDR, for example, and you have a loaded big conservative, and then on turn number 1, like they go big conservative. Has it ever happened to you?
Yeah, we'll try to block that. I'll just pivot.
Yeah, for sure. It's great because I mean that money investment, they're not getting the return that quick. So, but yeah, 48% swing, obviously. That's huge. And that's huge. That's one of the most important bonuses in the games. 35% as a standalone is absolutely crazy, and then 48%. I mean, you're doomed if you go into a swing state battle and lose. And then Old South. Old South, of course, is such a springboard to AA or swing states. So obviously that's a great combination. Let's get on to the next one here. This is Biden. Do you know which Biden this is?
This is President Biden. No, it's regular Biden.
This is Biden 2020. So with Biden 2020, used to get 48% swing, 30% manufacturing, and 30% export. And what I like about this Biden is the negative is in gun lobby. It's not in African American. Doesn't make that AA bonus worse. I mean, you can work with an 80% AA bonus. It stinks. It's not like 100 or 150. Obviously, but if you're getting 145 with swing, or if you're getting that loaded manufacturing bonus, can definitely help out. Not one of my favorite combinations, but definitely someone to think about. This is Tim Scott. Now he does have every candidate does have 3 positive and a negative. The one of the positives got cut off, but it's actually a 45% oil and gas. So I wanted to prioritize showing the African American because the 10% AA doesn't mean he gets a 10% bonus. It means that his I don't think so, right? It's because he has a
Yeah, he has a 20% penalty, so it's like a 10% penalty.
yeah, so instead of having 110K, it would be 90K. So just a little bit of some nuances of how the VPs work. But again, 45% being conservative and that 45% oil and gas, that is extremely helpful if you're playing, a little bit of a Texas-California war and you can somehow get oil.
Yeah.
You can easily overtake your opponent or spread out and just put the clamps down. So definitely something to consider here. I'd say that's one of my favorites so far. Here we have President Biden. So again, same thing with the AA. It would cut it down to a -5%, so 95% or 95K per turn, then 50% swing states. So this would have Troy Moore licking his.
That's a big one.
Yeah. But it does have a negative penalty in big conservative. So maybe someone who's not going to go into national groups, so would prioritize this one. Then this one's kind of sneaky. So Amy Coney Barrett, if you like going for big conservative and evangelicals, maybe just leaving gun lobby alone. So you're looking at starting on maybe turn 5. So you go turn 1, big conservative, finish off turn 2, open up evangelicals, get it. You're going to be behind. You're essentially waving the white flag, even possibly in swing states, because they can get that swing state bonus on turn 3 if they play their cards right. But you can have immediate pressure. You can, kind of low spin, have the big 3. You can kind of, Texas, California, and New York if your opponent isn't careful. And, with Old South and with other, bonuses you can get in 2 turns or set yourself up. This is a pretty sneaky combination.
I actually like this one a lot because I usually go double nationals, so I'll go big conservative evangelical. And if you're facing like crooked and they go New York first and you pick up that swing state, that's great. That's gold.
This is like this is almost the perfect thing that you probably wish you could do, like an RBG. Have the labor environment, the women's movement, but then a swing bonus. And then
exactly.
Somehow, because her swing is what, -15?
-15, yep.
Which I don't know if that's historically accurate or not. I mean, I don't know. It's some of these stats are kind of random, but I mean, she is a free candidate, so I get it, like scaling the power or whatever. But if you gave RBG a 48% swing state bonus, that's
OP.
As heck, yeah, for sure. So this is a cool combo. Let's see what's next here. There's fancy football stuff. I've been doing on my side time here. Okay, so we have what's that guy's name? Elon Musk. So this is again, one of those things that makes Reagan unique, and he's one of the reasons why I bought him as the original Reagan as my first candidate I ever bought was the high tech bonus. Sorry. So 40% high tech. Talk about like how important that is to the game of like flexibility, New York, California. Like,
oh, for sure. You can go New York easy. You can go either New York or swing state or Florida. Like either way, it's OP for you because if you get New York and you get high tech, bam, that's 40%. If you don't get New York, you just pick up the 35% swing, and manufacturing export is also there. So super nice, super balanced.
If you had an Elon Musk and you had a buff in export manufacturing and high tech, what are the chances you're going to overspend to make sure you get Pennsylvania?
That's true. Pennsylvania is super important.
Because you're going to have a lot of eggs in not one basket, but it just makes everything so much easier. If you have Pennsylvania and like a state like Michigan, with manufacturing, high tech export, those are going to be some battleground states. So when you're facing an RR84, you want to look at
exactly. Yeah.
You want to look and see who their VP is, or just like cutting them off, some of those key pivot points. And obviously, he's not perfect. He has negatives and 20% in AA and Latino. Latino to me is not that big of a deal. You can definitely win. AA, I wouldn't say it's a huge deal. It definitely hurts, but I think it does limit him, where he's not such a game-breaking candidate. The ball is still in your court to add a vice president to kind of adjust to your strengths if you want to get rid of your penalties or if you want to go super, super strong. Erik, what's your very favorite, if you were in a tournament game and you had to win one match and you were playing a random opponent, you didn't know who it was, so you couldn't prep. What's your favorite VP candidate combination?
Oof. Well, the one I mean, oh man, it's either gonna be OG round one with someone that'll give either, I guess Amy's really good. So Amy or Kellyanne Conway. But usually I've played RBG, I guess this is the normal one. So I usually would do RBG, Mueller or Crooked at RBG is what I would usually do.
Gotcha.
But
because
I would say either Crooked, RBG, or go ahead.
What's de Blasio do with that? Does he just do labor?
He just does labor and youth, I think.
Okay, so that wouldn't be good for yours because you'd rather go women than labor with RBG.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
RBG Mueller or Crooked RBG. Yeah.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is you wish 270 would update Mueller a little bit, make him a little bit stronger. You think 270 pays attention to the ramifications of vice presidents, or do you think they just randomly pick stats?
I maybe a little bit, but it can't be that much. They can't be paying attention that much to it.
Yeah, that's funny. Let me stop sharing my screen here so people can see our pretty faces and not Ronald Reagan here. But so just to
Ronald Reagan's probably prettier than us. So.
Probably. He's got some nice looking hair. I've got some bald spots coming in, but that's okay. Back when I was trying to win the 100 game tournaments and trying to go 100-0, and I was demolishing newbies, I was rocking the Barack Obama with a free Hillary vice president. So just insane, high tech AA. It was a Latino or County guy. I can't remember. I think it's County Gown. So it's just super important to get New York, but that would put those really, really big bonuses, but I had to get those. In general, I know you don't go out of state groups, but if you were giving advice to someone who was picking a candidate, do you think it's better to load up on several key bonuses, or do you think it's better to minimize your penalties, or it just depends on how they play?
I think it just depends. I think with Ronald Reagan specifically, probably eliminating your penalties because your bonuses are already so high that I think it's better to eliminate your penalties. So with RR84, probably MLK Jr. that eliminates AA and Latino penalty. I don't know what MLK's negative is. I'm guessing it's bit conservative or something. But something like that I think would be beneficial. It just depends. If it's a normal candidate, not overpowered like RR84, probably boosting a couple bonuses as much as you can. So I would go with that.
I pulled up and then I don't think you see this. It's this power of the screen. Can't see it. But you're gonna have to trust me on this one. So it almost happened. So a MLK VP with RR84 gives you a 20% youth, 25% AA, so a net positive of 5%, a 10% or 12% Latino, so a net negative of 8% Latino, and like you were saying, a negative 25% big conservative. So that would hurt quite a bit for the big conservative, but if you're not doing that anyway, then it doesn't really. It just makes them a more well-rounded candidate.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep.
Awesome. Well, that's gonna do it for the RR84 talk. I'm gonna wrap up this video, but first I want you guys to get to know Erik York a little bit better. So yeah,
Oh man,
we're gonna spend like 3 to 5 minutes of just like burning questions here, like hot off the presses. So Erik,
perfect.
yes. So what do you do in real life? What you have a job? Do you um, are you a homeless man with hair
I,
like that? I mean, what do you
I
do?
do have a job.
You do have a job. That's good. What do you do?
Which is nice. But yeah, I'm an accountant. I work for Robert Half, so I work for different clients, and I basically, yeah, just an accountant. So,
You move numbers around,
um,
but maybe not as shady
yep.
as Nathan Williams.
Maybe, yeah, maybe not as shady as Nathan Williams. No,
Okay.
he's got me beyond that.
Yeah, all good. So you're an accountant. I for some reason could never remember where you're from. You identify as Ethiopian, or what was it again? You didn't
Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian. So there was a Team USA versus Team World.
I'm half Ecuadorian, yeah.
And we were banking on Erik York to be the hammer that would bring USA to victory. And he didn't even he chose his allegiance to be Team World because of your.
The world team recruited me. US didn't recruit me. I was a free agent, and the world wanted me more.
So
I'm half. I can pick either.
who do we have to blame? Daniel Warren?
Whoever was in charge, I don't know.
I don't know who it was. I think it was Daniel Smith, but when golden rule number one, when everything fails, just blame Daniel Warren because he's such an easy target. Awesome. Any fun facts that the lounge may not know about you that
I guess I'm not an old guard. I'm fairly new. I started in like May or something like that. So kind of like, I don't know, kind of like my first character was like RBG, so I just exclusively played RBG with national groups, and that's why everybody calls me Mr. National Group, because they're like, first of all, I got like ostracized because like, who, you're playing national groups in 1v1? What a noob.
which was
And
true.
then I think one of my first tournaments, I beat Jason, and he was like, and everybody's like, what the heck, what happened? And so yeah, then I just made national groups happen, and then after a while, everybody's like, oh, you can only play national groups. I was like, no. So I just play regularly, and I can play regularly fine too. So
I have a question for you. So who is the person in the lounge that is way better, but for some reason, like you beat them every time? Like you have their number. Is there someone that you claim to have?
Daniel, but I don't know if he's way better. Oh man, there's
I mean, you've
some
beaten
people
Jason
I just
this year.
can't.
I mean,
I
are
can't
there any top
think of
players
anyone.
are there any top players that you struggle with? Like George Fry or
Yeah,
you beat
Brendan
Bart?
Borman, that guy.
I
Bart, I was 0-2 against until I just beat him. So
okay, so that was cool.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Bart's a good player. No, I was gonna say I do not like. I think for some reason, and I know we're both Central Time Zone, right? Like
Yeah,
you're always up like late at night. Like it's
yeah,
like
I am.
2 a.m. Like, oh, I can just grind out a lobby game here. Like I'll just play against someone who's just woke up in like India or somewhere, and oh crap, it's Erik York. Oh no. I have to like slap myself in the face, like wake up because I'm like laying down, like half asleep. Like, don't fall asleep, don't fall asleep. We've played a couple of times late at night.
That's
But
funny.
yeah. So who so what's your one shining moment 270, like your biggest accomplishment to date, would you say?
Man, I don't know. I This isn't really an accomplishment. I've been in a ton of finals. I don't have been in the most finals, but I've been like in a ton, and I'm probably like 5 and like 11 or 12, which is kind of bad. But who else has made 18, 19 finals? So that's good, I
I'd
guess.
say Javier.
um,
Javier is probably the only
other
one
than the,
who makes it to more finals than you. You guys are like the grinders of like the big tournaments, I would say.
yeah, Javier is one I struggle with against. I think I've only like 1 and 3, maybe not even 1, maybe like 0 and 3. So he's another one that I struggle against.
I'd
But
say what I've
other
watched a
other
couple of
than
those.
them, other than Bart, Javier, I don't really struggle anyone. But
Well, I think,
and you, of course, right?
and that's because of your game style, where you give yourself so many paths to where, you may not beat people like 400, but you don't have to. You just have to get to 270, and so you would. I mean, a lot of people will
Yeah,
hold under
exactly.
pressure, and Javier's really good. I can see why you would struggle, because he just gives just enough, and then you go for it. And, if you play the national groups, when you go for it, you have to get it, because that money per turn, is great. But if you allow your opponent to get all the state groups and you don't
Yep.
take something away, then you're kind of screwed. So, awesome. Well, I asked you a ton of questions. I'm going to give you a chance to
Exactly. Yeah.
ask me a question. Just throw, because we had nothing
Oof.
prepared, so try to catch me off guard here.
Man, let's see. Who's your favorite VP candidate combo?
Oh, my favorite VP candidate combo. Okay, so it's a good question. In multiplayer, one of the most underrated ones that I like is Ross Perot, just because he
Okay.
does high tech oil. So like if you go like how if you play like the Texas California game, but it also gives you a swing state bonus. So if you add like an FDR,
Gotcha.
like Ross Perot combo, that's pretty fire for state groups, because you've got so many paths. But I don't know how many times that I have played with California or played with FDR, and and I just choose wrong. Like sometimes I'll choose California, sometimes I'll choose Texas, and like turn one clash. It's like but you hate to zero spend and then
Yeah.
double pit clash on turn two. It's just like, I'm going to claim my territory. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. New York is a really turn one clash a lot of times in multiplayer, but I would say that that's my underrated one the most. And then the one my go-to, I mean, I play like if the game is on the line, like I need to play as somebody. Michelle Obama is just such a good candidate for a variety of reasons. And if I was going to boost her,
Yeah.
Because I would say that I am really good in an AA battle, but it's if I'm going to lose, that's probably the most likely path. So I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket. So like something where I get a huge high tech and a swing, that would be beneficial. I think
Gotcha.
I think that like I just don't lose swing battles. So I mean I'm literally, I think I've lost like one swing battle probably I can last like 300 or so. Whereas
Dang.
I will lose like an old South battle like more than not. Like now if I win that old South battle, watch out. So I don't know. I'm probably just and I'm talking against like top players, like stream matches per se.
Yeah.
But no, I went on a tangent. I don't know. I don't, and I'm like you. I don't play with
Dude,
VPs much.
I hate swing state battles.
I'm there for them. I tell you what, it's so like I feel like that everybody knows the math for swing state battles, so everyone is like truly going for like whatever. And
Mhm.
no, it is absolutely epic. And I mean, you can definitely like lose a swing state battle and still win, but you cannot lose a prolonged swing state battle and not pivot and
Yeah,
not.
for sure.
I mean, you have to learn how to pivot, and that's something that it takes a long time. I mean, you can learn the math, you can learn the bonuses behind the game, but like just playing a ton of games, you kind of learn tendencies and when to pivot, when not to pivot. So,
Gotcha. Dude,
okay.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
So what is like a super like I guess underrated candidate that people don't play like much? So like I use Eisenhower. I think he's like pretty good. Uh like he has like 8 bonuses and the only penalty is like Latino. So I use him like a ton before RR84 came out. But what's someone like that, I guess? Like an
Well,
underrated candidate.
yeah, and if you like Eisenhower, there is an Eisenhower update coming pretty soon. So,
No way.
um, but no, and Vermin Supreme's coming next week. I don't know if you saw the post from 270, and then some other guy who I've never heard of, Matt, like Gaza or something.
Oh, I know. That the congressman out of Florida, I think. Is that the
Okay,
guy?
no idea. It was gonna be
Yeah.
Bob Dole, and then they're like, no, we're gonna wait till like Bob Dole dies or something. So okay, try to capitalize on his death. But no, so who would I say is as an underrated candidate? So it depends, obviously, like, there are different spectrums of like strength. George W. Bush is one of my favorite
Yeah.
Republicans who doesn't have a huge, weakness. He doesn't have a huge strength. Like I think if you gave him like a 35% oil and gas and just like didn't change anything else, he'd be pretty good because he's got neutral AA. He's got 15% swing. I pull out cheat sheet, floating phone again. There it is. If I hold it just
Oh, I can see it.
yeah. Oh, and it's gone.
Oh, no, it's gone.
But I don't know. I would say that sticking with Republicans, I mean, if you want to go like the AA route, when I was first starting out and doing these like community tournaments, I was Colin Powell a lot, just because
I gotcha.
he has 25% AA. He has same thing, no penalties. But I am a Republican in real life, but I do tend to play more as Democrats. And I was surprised to see how strong JFK was on the model that Alex East.
Oh, dude, same.
I mean, I know he's good, but like he just feels not as strong because the numbers are lower. And while he does have 9 of the state groups, it just feels like you're behind when you're equal with your opponent when he's like FDR or Michelle or somebody. But my tried and true when we were in the RHL in the thick of it, Tim Ryan is a great candidate. I don't think he's underrated. I just don't see a lot of people play as him. And as RR84 and some other swing candidates come out, Tim Ryan may get kind of left behind. But yeah, Tim Ryan is absolutely fire.
Yeah, true. Trust him and won the RHL, right?
Troy
That
won
was his candidate.
Troy won with him the RHL. Troy, I had Troy dead to rights. I beat him in game 1 and game 2. If I just go up in California, which is what I do against any other player, then I would have won. But I was like, no, I got to give Troy too much credit because he's a good player. Like he's already thought this way through, and in reality, he was like $30,000 short of being able to double pip. And if I just even if we just clash all my bonuses, I get it next turn. And I thought he would force a ballot, so I blocked the ballot, and he blocked the ballot, and then it was not good.
Oh man.
Anyway, thanks so much for joining in, Eric. Anything you want to plug?
Of course.
Are you on Twitter or on anywhere? OnlyFans?
I am on Twitter, but I have like 10 followers. Me and I think it's Steve are playing in the APTP finals tomorrow. If you want to watch that.
That's gonna be live.
Otherwise,
lounge.
No, I had nothing.
Yep. Who streaming that?
Yep, live in the lounge.
Is that streamed by somebody like Dennis or by?
I think Zach Algaze.
Zach Algaze. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think it's Zach, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. And to answer my question from you earlier, I think and you could be wrong, but I think one of your greatest accomplishments was beating Jason in that original college football. That was pretty
football. Yeah.
That was the K-State.
I was gonna say that as my second. but
Yeah. That's just what I thought of. That was like when
yeah,
you
K-State.
boom on the map, like boom, I'm here. So Erik York, a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
Well, I am gonna log off here as it's 5 o'clock and people are leaving and turn off the lights. This is what happens when you stream while you're at work. But thanks for joining. You're welcome back anytime, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.
awesome.